college sports. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. It brings people together for one team to see them beat their rivals, enemies on a daily basis. But I don't want to talk about college teams per se, more so college athletes and a big problem that we have right now currently. College athletes are not being paid. They're not being paid. And that's a problem I want to talk to you about. You know, college athletes, they're the reason why these colleges bring in the big money, revenue, revenue, especially D1, D2 colleges. They profit off of their college athletes year by year, bring in millions of dollars in revenue, revenue. These college athletes, they 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 bring they bring money, especially well-known colleges like Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Clemson, Duke, North Carolina. Those are few examples of colleges who bring millions of dollars of revenue every year, every year, and these college athletes don't get none of it, none of it. They they work hard for their craft, specifically whether it's basketball or football, but none of the money they bring for their colleges, for the staff members, for these sports, for their coaches, none of it none of it comes to them whatsoever. Whatsoever. You know, you know, you know, these colleges, every year there's certain players that are well known within the college sports community, whether it's, you know, football or basketball, who are well known, who are famous among college sports. These colleges, they may merchandise off of them, use their likeness, and these certain players can't do a thing about it. Colleges are essentially making money off of them, making money off of them all the time because their brand for that specific football player or basketball player who's potentially gonna go to the NFL or NBA is essentially bring that specific college that they're playing at money, and 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 their brand is being used by colleges continuously, whether they like it or not, and they're not getting a dime off of it. Off of it, you know, athletes, they they work on their craft continuously. Working out, conditioning, doing different kinds of exercises because they're playing at D1, even D2. They're playing at a high level every week, traveling, traveling. They need to be at the top of their game physically and mentally, but more so physically. Because college football, college basketball, they need toughness. They need you, they need you to continuously get into the gym, get into the weight rooms, you know, work on your body, because that essentially helps you play the specific sport that you're good at, that you're good at. But these sports, but sports always comes with a downside: injuries, injuries, injuries happen on a on a daily basis, on daily basis. You know, you know these college athletes, they're here on an athletic scholarship usually, especially 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 college students who have a great chance at being drafted to these professional leagues such as the NBA and the NFL. But injuries do happen. Injuries happen all the time. All the time, where it's a torn ACL, MCL, MCL. a tear in Achilles, you know, once they once they re- once they receive a major injury, it's essentially detrimental to their college career or even their professional sports career at a higher level. At a higher level, once that major injury happens, the college is going to look into that, and if if a medical professional sees as that injury that there's no coming back from that, that's it. That's that's it. These players receive no money. So if a major injury occurs, that school might take away that scholarship and that's it. Most likely they'll have to drop out and go to a college with with less money, with less money, and it sucks because they've put in the work for this college to receive no money, and when something happens, that college might kick them to the curb, and they will have received nothing, nothing, nothing. To further this, a lot of college athletes, they come from low income communities, not so good backgrounds, not so good neighborhoods. They usually do sports as a way out, and luckily, a lot of people, a lot of kids get dra- get get recruited by these D1, D2 colleges, in order to have a chance to make it to make it to make it to a high level professionally. You know, they they you know they want a chance to make it to the NBA or NFL to help out themselves, better themselves, their lives financially, and not only themselves, but their families. Even when they're in college, their families are still struggling and they're receiving no money, no money whatsoever, whatsoever. You're telling me that you're telling me that these guys from low income communities that have potential to make it to the big leagues can't receive money that's being profited off them. That money could help them financially, their families financially. These kids have the scholarship, but but the scholarship is for their athletics and room and board, but that's it. No money truly for themselves or their families to help, to help. But not only that, there's a lot of people, whether it's students or college athletes, that feel as though they should get paid. There's a poll by College Pulse, which is a polling platform. They surveyed 2,501 students, to talk about whether college athletes should get paid. 53% of them support compensating college athletes. You know, you, you know, a lot of student athletes. 61% African American, 56% Asian, 52% Hispanics, and 51% white student athletes. They agree that college athletes should get paid a salary. You know, 80% of students, 83% of athletes agree that the images that are being used for purposes such as merchandising, essentially them being profited on, you know, like that percentage of students and athletes agree that they should get paid because of that. Yeah, get paid because of that. 73% of students believe that college athletes should get paid off of their likeness being used. Likeness being used. You know, you know, student athletes should get paid. Get paid. They're not some. They're not. They shouldn't be the profits, revenue, merchandising, likenesses, they're being used consistently. If they're being used, if they're being used essentially by these colleges year by year, they should get compensated continuously for bringing for helping their colleges out. Colleges how they should. That's the least these colleges should do for these athletes who risk their bodies. You know, they're essentially a big part of their life when they step into college. College compensation, compensation would go a long way for these students, for these college athletes, athletes, athletes. It should be done. It should be done.